What's going on? It's Kevin Kenny. We are live on the corner of 4th and Broadway for a new edition of the Build series. And it has been over 2 years since our guest today has graced the Build stage. And I'm telling you right now, honestly, there's not been a week since 2017 where I've not received a tweet, a DM. If they had my phone number, they'd probably be leaving me voicemails to have her back on the show. By request, she is here today. Give it up for Agnez Mo.
That's good. Happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you back. Do you remember this place?
I know. I mean, 2 years ago, right?
It must feel like a lifetime for you, though.
I mean, not really.
No? Really? You know why I say that?
It happened so fast, though.
Is because you were so huge at the time and you're even bigger now, and I feel like you've just done so much since 2017.
Yeah, I think so, too. Because I think that was when I released X album.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and then after that, I put out Overdose. So, yeah, it's quite a lot.
You've been busy.
Been busy. Busy is good.
How would you?
What about you, though?
What? What about me?
I mean, you've been busy too.
I know. I've been missing you though, Agnez.
Oh, I mean, you know.
We need you on the show more. We need you in New York more, actually.
I know.
You're busy in LA.
I should probably live here for like 3 months or 6 months.
You were saying that though. You're thinking about it.
I mean, look at this. I mean, the
this
vibe
is New York
kind
vibe.
of New York. So I don't know.
1,000%. 100%. Those are fly sneakers, by the way, too.
Thank you.
Well, just try to sum up the last 2 years for me.
Oh wow. Shoot. Yeah. What did I do? Overdose. I put out Overdose with Chris. We actually also have a project coming out.
Yeah.
And then I had Diamonds out with French Montana. And then you know what's the most exciting thing is actually just put out yet another single, which is Na Na Na.
Now this was a long time coming, right?
7 years ago.
Can you tell me this story?
So I think I wrote it the first time I got to LA.
Okay.
And I work with Tears, which is the producer, and also Frankie. And it was just like one of those days where we're like, you know, I want to write something that just feels good. You know, I want to talk about just being in love. And then we just decided to keep it because I thought, like, you know, that's a special one. But yeah, we never really got to put it out. But I just feel like the fans deserve that. I deserve that because that's like my little baby.
Yeah.
And so me and my management, he's actually over there right now. We just decided to put it out. We're like, you know what? No, I can't keep this, you know, to myself. I have to share this with my fans.
Why right now, though? What was it about the energy of this moment that you thought it was perfect to release this song?
I think it's because I promised myself in 2020 I'm gonna put out more songs. And I think this is just the first thing to do. Yeah, it's the right time. You know, the fans have been asking for it. And I couldn't really hold it anymore. Like I was in the studio, I played it on IG story and people were like, oh my God, Agnez, you know, you wrote that 7 years ago. I actually totally forgot that it was 7 years ago, but of course my fans.
Oh, they know how many days.
Exactly. 7 years and 7 months and 20 days.
Out of the minutes, probably.
But yeah, I mean, when they reminded me of that, it kind of made me feel like, oh wow, they have been waiting, and it felt really personal to me. I mean, fans, they've been really supportive, so
to say the least,
that's like a gift.
Yeah.
For them.
Yeah. Is it scary as an artist to put out a high volume of music? Because of course now it's just the way of the world, and not just you know, the music you make, but hip hop and just overall. But I'm sure you're a perfectionist. I'm sure you always want to get songs so right. Is there a bit of like
that's kind of like the strength and the weakness that I have.
Yeah, like the push and the pull, right?
But it's always scary because I think as an artist, when you put your feelings out there, you put yourself out there to be judged. You know that there will be some people judging you based on, you know, how you write it and what you write. So it's always a scary place. But I've never really been afraid to put it out. But it's just, you know, there's so many moving pieces. There's so many people involved. But now I just kind of like, I mean, I can't curse here, right?
No, you can't. We're on the internet.
But, I mean, now I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just want to put it out.
So wait, while we're cussing on the show, Agnez, why won't you cuss in Indonesian?
Yeah, in New York, right?
Yeah, of course. But I was watching you on Nick Cannon's morning show, and you like refused to cuss in Indonesian.
I mean, it's a little different though.
Is it?
Like
Explain. This is so fascinating to me.
It just carries a different weight when you cuss in your own language.
Okay.
It almost made me nervous. Like,
you were very visibly nervous.
I was so nervous. Oh my God, and my heart still beats so hard right now thinking about it. It's just different. It's different. Like I can say "fuck you" and I don't have any problem with that.
Yeah.
But when I have to cuss in Indonesian language, I can't.
Yeah. Do you remember just getting yelled at maybe as a kid and knowing not to cuss?
No, not really. But I don't know. For some reason,
Yeah.
it just made me
I cracked
feel
up at that. I thought that was great.
Yeah, and then he was like, "No, like teach me how to
He
say it."
made
I'm like,
you. Yeah.
"No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it for the people. I'm not gonna disappoint my country."
That was actually a great interview you did with Nick, and I learned so much because I think there are so many misconceptions about you, and even like things I just didn't even know how diverse culturally Indonesia was. It's an incredibly culturally diverse place.
Yeah, it's really interesting because Indonesia has over 18,000 islands.
That's wild.
And each island, we have like different sound, we have different traditional outfits, you know, like percussions, just music in general. We have so many, you know, so diverse. So I think I grew up with that. But what's funny is that I actually grew up singing at church, so that's even more like, oh wait, you have the Indonesian traditional music, but at the same time you sang at church. That kind of just became, you know, a part of me.
Yeah.
So I think it's not just about culture representation. I think it's more culture inclusivity, and that's what I stand for.
Well, right, and you were also a little different from those around you. I read and I learned from that Nick, interview. I think people just think you were the most popular person in the world, probably just from like instantly because of how successful you are. But you were a little different than everybody else, huh?
Yeah, because I actually don't have Indonesian blood whatsoever. So I'm actually German, Japanese, Chinese. I was just born in Indonesia. And I'm also Christian, which is in Indonesia, the majority there are Muslims. So I've always been kind of, you know, like I'm not gonna say that I felt like I don't belong there,
Right?
Because I always felt like, you know, the people accepted me for who I was. But there's always that sense of, oh, I'm not like everybody else.
It's a unique perspective.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, for
Makes
sure.
you think about
I
things.
think it really taught me how to embrace that. How to embrace my vulnerability, how to embrace my differences, how to embrace my quirkiness, you know.
Well, and I'm sure embrace others,
Yeah,
right?
for
And their
sure.
uniqueness, and I think that's why you're able to speak to so many different people,
Yeah,
probably through your music.
and because the thing is, I don't want to just relate to the cool kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I just feel like I need to relate to people who feel like they don't belong to, you know what I mean, whatever community or whatever community they're in. I want to be able to like tell them that, hey, by the way, I'm actually an introvert. I'm not used to speaking in public, yet I'm a public figure.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yet I have so many followers. So I think, you know, to represent that is so much more important to me than just representing the cool kids.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to represent both, but it's a good reminder that I came from, you know, a place where I felt like, oh, I wasn't quite like everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
But I still, you know, I can still make it.
I think it's so ironic and kind of interesting that for someone that has over 40 million followers on social media, you're not the biggest lover of the phone.
No, well, I mean, it depends.
Okay.
It depends on who I'm talking to.
Yes, yeah. Who's on the other end, right?
If they're an asshole, then like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you.
Of course. But you don't love social media. You don't not like it,
I
but
don't.
you're not like a social media
I
addict.
don't. I mean, my manager always like reminded me, Ag, you have to post more on Twitter. You have to post more on Facebook. I'm like, oh, this is too much. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, I grew up, when I built my career, there wasn't social media.
You started at 6.
Yeah,
I
there
don't
was no
think a
social
lot of
media
people don't know.
whatsoever. Like, I literally had to go to, I actually had to go to a vocal class for me to have a vocal lesson. It's not like I can just go on YouTube or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had to, you know, go to a bookstore to buy books.
Yeah.
So social media hasn't been really a huge influence, I guess, in my life.
You didn't grow up wanting to be on social media, which I think is a big dividing line.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why when I won that social media award at iHeart, it
course.
was kind of ironic because I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's an honor, to be honest, to have like that platform to actually be able to speak to so many people, and it's like a real influence if you think about it.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And I really take it to heart. You know, being responsible of everything that I say to the people.
Being
but
real and
Yeah,
authentic.
being real, being authentic. I think that's really important.
Yeah. Let's talk about Overdose. It's a belated congratulations because you weren't in New York at the time, so we could do it in person. But just for you at home, wherever you are, I think you're over here. This thing went top 20 at U.S. radio. And these are on formats like rhythmic, on urban, that traditionally, you know, there aren't a lot of international artists on those formats. And just that achievement and how hard that is, and for somebody that works in radio, it's not like streaming where if the fans like it, you get the numbers. Like, so many people have to sign off on these songs at so many different stations around the country and just unanimously agree this is a great song that belongs on our airwaves, that they did, and they embraced Overdose that way.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
Thank
But also,
you.
what is the greatest achievement in your mind that song did?
I think it just made me realize that music transcends your, where you come from, your skin tone, your body type. And that's really encouraging, because when I came out here, I remember walking into a lot of sessions with, people staring at me like, oh, but you don't look like you get it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't look a certain way. You don't fit into the stereotypes. And I don't know how many times I have to explain until I was actually tired of explaining. I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna do it. And then if you fuck with it, you fuck with it. If not, it's fine too. It's still me. But yeah, I mean, it's really encouraging, like whenever I talk to people, to the radio people about Overdose, they don't just like, they can relate to the music, they can relate to the song, but I think the most important thing is they can relate to me. Because it's like such an embodiment of American dream if you think about it, So yeah.
Yeah. It was incredible to watch it just rise up the charts and to go top 20 is just, people want that their whole careers, and for you to just link up with Chris like that.
Right.
A popular question that I've been getting from your fans, we'll get to fan questions in a little bit, is this debut.
I'm actually nervous for that one.
Well, you know what? You shouldn't be nervous because honestly,
they're usually, they're...
We have, a lot of popular artists in the show. We do the fan questions from time to time, and sometimes it's just gibberish, or it's just like, the same question over and over again. Your fans are so articulate. The Agnez is just like, they ask really great questions.
Yeah, they're really smart.
They're budding journalists
and demanding too.
Yeah. Very, very.
Yeah,
very,
they didn't
very.
make my job easier, but it's always good to have people who push you to the limit. So.
Of course. So what is the status of the joint project with Chris? The album, or if it's an EP?
I mean, we have over 8 songs together, probably 9 or 10 songs together, and hopefully we can put it out. But the thing is, I don't want to just like put it out for the sake of putting it out. Like I want people to see me beyond my song with Chris Brown.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I have so many layers that I feel like people deserve to know. Right. And even the show that I'm gonna do tomorrow, it's not like my usual show. Because usually in my show, in Indonesia or like any other country, I never really got a chance to have a conversation or have a real conversation on stage. So it's almost like, oh, it's just Agnez Mo with the glamorous, you know what I mean? Like, oh, fashion, dancers, band, but big.
Yeah.
But it's never like, oh, here is this part of me that you never knew before. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what I really wanted to change. This past year, actually, even the way that I write songs is a little different.
How's it changed?
I guess it's more honest.
You just seem more comfortable in general.
Yeah, I mean, I'm insecure a lot of times, but I'm secure about my insecurities.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm comfortable with it. So I think there's a strength and bravery in sharing that, and I want to try to like showcase that more to the fans.
Well, it follows a similar trajectory that I know a lot of artists talk about, where you get all this attention, which you have now, and now that you have the platform, and you have had the platform, really, we can now stateside get to know you, get to know Agnez. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
You can have that conversation.
And I think it's
now.
important because not a lot of people really know who I am.
Right.
Other than the Agnez Mo that I always portray on stage or like on social media.
Right.
I've always been real, but I've just been. I'm an introvert, so I'm not really comfortable, like naturally, to talk to, even like this, to talk to you or to talk to people, like put myself out there. I wasn't born with that, you know, but I know that they deserve to know that. Like they love me so much that I feel like, you know what, you deserve to get to know me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
You have sort of masterfully, evolved along your journey while also just being pulled in so many different directions when you think about it, right?
Yeah.
You know, all the critics, right? You're not enough this, you're not enough that. How has all of that pushing and pulling informed your sort of evolution as an artist? How have you sort of like found yourself within all of that? Because there's so many opinions about you when you're as big as you are.
I think you just kind of look at it as a learning process. And I never wanted to hide that anyway. You know what I mean? Like I always share that with my fans that I'm evolving as a human being. You know, I'm not always perfect, and I'll be the first person to admit that.
Right.
But I feel like embracing those weaknesses, but also at the same time learning from your mistakes, has always been my strength.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, what was the question again? I was like, I was just like in my thoughts.
No, it is. It's a learning experience, and you know what?
Yeah.
The answer to that is probably going to change day by day, right? Because it's
Yeah. I mean, because at the end of the day, you can't satisfy everybody. You know, I just want to make sure that I'm good in front of the Lord. Like God sees me as a good person. I do good things in life. I try to inspire people to be better. That's one of the most important things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Agnation, of course. I want to make them happy.
Oh my God.
I have some questions from them right here. And they are great. We're going to get to some in New York City as well here in studio. Cecilia Elba 2 wants to know, what is some advice you would give to your fans that are going through a particularly hard time and feel alone?
Ooh. I mean, shit, being lonely is a part of it. You know what I mean? Like first, for me personally, I'm not trying to like sound cliche or whatever. Like I always try to pray first, you know, and I think it's good to have that relationship with God. That is the first. And I think second of all, realizing that what's the definition of being lonely? What, like you have you have only like 2-3 best friends, because sometimes it's better. I mean, it's better for me to only have like 1 or 2 friends, but you know that they're real. But at the same time, I think the third is looking at it as an opportunity for you to find yourself, you know, because a lot of times when we are surrounded by a lot of people, a lot of noises, you know, like you can't really have a conversation with yourself. You know, and I always like whenever I feel lonely, whenever I feel like, this is not right, I always try to use that time to introspect, is that the word? To just have that conversation within yourself. Okay, like what can I do more? Like why do I feel lonely? Why do I feel like this? And then after that, you're gonna come out of it as a better person. Yeah. I think that's a fucking great opportunity. Yeah.
I like that. This comes from UJJE15. Is there a duet plan with any duet plans with a female singer?
I don't know. I mean, I really want to have a duet with Meg Thee Stallion.
Oh,
I feel like that would
yeah.
be so dope.
Where were you with her? I saw you on social media with her somewhere.
Yeah, that was on, her music video shoot.
Was that for the Hot Girl Summer video?
Yeah.
How much fun was that? That thing looked like a party.
I mean, it was a party.
Yeah.
It was
like a legit party.
Like a legit party.
Yeah.
It was cool. I mean, she's hella dope.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do we have any more? Oh, any plans to collab with a K-pop idol? This comes from these usernames are crazy, so you know who you are. Any plans to a K-pop idol like Super Junior or Eric Nam?
I mean, I don't know, probably BTS. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, as long as the music.
Right, it's about the
great.
music more than
anything.
anything.
Like for me, I get the business side of it,
right.
but it just got to be right. It just has to feel right.
Yeah.
As long as the music is cool, I'm down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. And then final one before we get to the audience questions here. Any idea, this comes from Jelly Chat Time, I can read that name. Any idea to drop any unreleased tracks or projects that you did in the past or put out in the future?
Yeah.
Yes?
For sure.
Why do you laugh?
For sure. Because that's always been my plan. That's always been my dream, to be honest. Because you have... A lot of people were like, well, Ag, why did you tell us that you're going to put out your album in March, but then like you never really put it out? And what they don't understand is that, you know, like I don't own the label. I don't own, you know what I mean? Like
There's so much
there's
behind the
so
scenes they
exactly
could never
there's so
even
many
imagine.
people that, you know, there's so many people involved in the project. But I think, you know, now my focus is just, I have to focus on being an artist. You know what I mean? Like I have to focus on the art. I have to focus on the music and putting them out because it hurts me the most. I know that it hurts the fans, or they think that it hurts the fans most. No, it actually hurts me the most. Yeah. Because when I write, or when I'm in the recording studio, when I you know, pour out my heart, that's like a piece of me there. Yeah. So it hurts me the most for me to not being able to, you know what I mean, like to put it out. Yeah. So believe me, guys, like I understand your pain.
New music soon.
New music
Let's get to the first of a couple questions here. Where's it going to come from? Up front? Awesome.
Hi, Agnez. My name is Iman, biggest fan. Congrats on both of your release of
Thank
Diamonds
you.
and on Major Bops. My question is...
Which one do you like more?
I can't. I just blasted out in the office. I'm like, I don't care. But
Alright.
they were like, who is this? So anyway, my question is, you're one of the first few successful Indonesian artists to break through into the Western market. Congrats, you're here.
Thank
and,
you.
yeah, I was just curious, like, what do you hope to see, like, how Indonesian or Asian identities in general to be portrayed in the Western media?
I think just to, you know, I think we have a lot of artists who kind of break that barriers as well. You know, like Alicia Keys, you know, like there was nobody like her when you know, she came out with like her first single or whatever. So I think, you know, I want to try to infuse a lot of Indonesian culture into my, you know, my music videos. Even if it's not in my music, at least it's in my video. And you can see that from Long As I Get Paid. Even the music video with Overdose, I put a little, it's called Jaipong, which is like Indonesian traditional dance. And I always try to infuse that and embracing that. And yeah, and hopefully I get to introduce some of my culture to the world. Yeah. Yeah.
Totally. Great question, man. Did you win the contest, by the way? Oh, yeah, he won Agnez Mo contest. It was a big giveaway. You got front row seat and you got to ask the question. That's awesome. Sorry, what's up, dude? All right, one more time.
Hi. I was just wondering, as a writer, how do you deal with writer's block, and what do you do to re-inspire yourself to keep going?
Okay. Writer's block, stop writing when you have writer's block. Like, you can't push it. I try to do that, actually. You know, because I'm such a perfectionist. So whenever I'm in the studio and I feel like, oh, I can't write, I blame myself a lot. Like, oh my God, I can't do this. But no, like you can't push it. So you gotta stop. You gotta take a minute. You know, go out with your girls, or you know, date an asshole and then and then break up with them. And that's your
Go out with your girls, find the asshole,
find the
date
asshole, date the asshole,
break up, and then go out with the girls again.
And there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's the best way.
Yeah, totally. I think that's good though, because I think you know, music is born out of energy, born out of a vibe, quote unquote.
Yeah,
and
it's
it's not
always
this
is.
rigid thing. It's not like, you know, you're doing schoolwork and you need to get the homework done.
Yeah, and usually that's when you get most hits.
Yeah.
When you're like, when you're not happy, when you're heartbroken. I feel like I have the luckiest job in the world. You know, whenever I feel sad, I can always pour it out in a song. Whenever I feel like I can't communicate, I can write it in a song. You know, I can sing the song.
We just bitch to our coworkers.
Exactly. You're just like in one cubicle. Yeah. I'm like, let me just go to the studio and
it's weird if we sing it.
And vent, you know?
Yeah.
And talk shit about the guy in front of thousands of people.
This is pretty baller. Hey, wait, speaking of flexes, I cannot believe we didn't get to this. I remember last time you were on the show, I was like blown away that you were on a stamp, which is still pretty cool.
Yeah.
But now you're going to have your own wax figure.
Yes, Madam
This is
Tussauds.
wild.
I know.
This is so cool. How did this come about and when did it happen?
Yeah, I think it was like 3 weeks ago or a month ago. We did the sitting, the measurements, and everything.
How long does that take?
It's like 8 hours.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 8 hours.
And you just stand there and they like,
Yeah, the thing is too, like I mean, I was a little dumb for choosing that pose because I could have just chosen this stand
Yeah.
right here. Like I had to be like a little swaggy with like them little like head bop with the tilt, and I have to like hold that pose for at least 5-6 hours. I mean, it's not always like that.
Right,
I didn't
right.
have to stand like for 6 hours straight.
Yeah.
But it was still a lot. But I guess I was just happy and excited about the whole process. And they actually just sent me the like the final draft of what it's gonna be.
no way. Is it free?
So
It's like,
I
that's me.
mean, it's. I don't know. I felt honored. Like when I read the email, when I saw the pictures of everything, they had to like choose the hair, the color. It was so meticulous. It's such a long, meticulous process, but it was amazing.
Yeah.
Just. Yeah, it's an honor. I mean, it's Madame Tussauds, for God's
Yeah,
sake.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Wild. All right. Well, we're unfortunately out of time. These things go by so fast with you, Agnez. But the important things to remember, of course, is the new music out right now.
Yes.
If you are local to New York City, you can check her out at Rough Trade out in Brooklyn tomorrow night. And then if you're in LA or even near LA, you're going to be at the Roxy on the 25th.
25th.
Right on. Guys, Agnez Mo.